is an aluminum Falcon.
Hey guys, welcome back to Spaghetti Junction. I've got a little bit more done here. I've got the light boxes placed on here. I got the, they're not glued down, but they're wired into this mess. I did get the landing pad, or landing ramp installed. And there goes my lights. They're only tentatively connected together anyways. They're blowing out my bulb. But you can see the lights up in there. All the lights are working for the landing gear. And you can see those lights working in the gunner station there. So right now, outside of testing these mandibles, which I may mount, and this one is pretty much giving up the ghost. It's pretty dead. It was flickering for a while. I said, oh, that's neat, but I think it's... No, it's dim, but it's in there. It does flicker. There's a short in it or something. Right now what I'm doing is I'm working on... Let's get some light in here. I am working on this strip. Luckily, the first part of the strip came pre-wired, so that was a bonus. Don't have to solder. I'm trying to figure out how to best light the rear of this thing. Let's just turn them off anyways. I've tried to put a strip inside this engine bevel here. That doesn't work so well. So the kit mounted LEDs go here. Go in these 4 holes. And that's a bit back too far for me. And that's my phone, of course, because, you know, that happens. Anyways, there's a little light leak that comes around this edge if they're back that far. And there might be anyways. But if I take a strip and essentially hot glue it to where those mounting pegs are, that's almost perfect amount of space between the engine and the lights, so it doesn't get all sourcey. I had them in here, and which would have been perfect, but let's put the camera where it should be. I had them in here, which would have been perfect, but it was just way too sourcey, and I couldn't mitigate that sourciness with anything I put in there. I tried some of this plastic. I tried multiple sheets of this plastic. I tried napkins, all kinds of stuff, but no, it's just too close. It needs to be mounted back. Right about there is perfect. And I'll just mount this to this little strip here near the top, and then hot glue that strip in here, and we'll see what that does. Be back in a minute. Well, I got the strip back here mounted on a piece of plastic, just hot glued in right here behind the engine. So you can see it's kind of sourcey there, but it looks perfect right there. It's exactly what I wanted, and it'll look even better when the ship's together. You can see that'll look great. So with that, I believe we are done with the lighting. The only thing I have to do is take those 2 extra bulbs that are somewhere in here, and where did they go? Oh, they're there. Vanished. I just have to mount these to the top here, up there, and then I can close this thing up. Well, then I can start putting on the side pieces here. And actually, the first thing I'm going to do is put on these side pieces. That's the next thing. I'm going to put on these things and the side pieces here and here. And then I'm going to put on the mandible piece up here, tidy up the wires, and then put the 2 pieces together. So I'll get working on that, and I'll see you in a bit. So we're moving right along, and I'm just mocking it up just to see. I almost forgot about our little cockpit that we did a while ago. I was thinking about wiring, and I'm like, oh, there's no reason I can't solder everything together. And I totally forgot about this guy. So he was in the box. He's out of the box. So I don't forget to wire in the cockpit when I wire everything else. This is going to be fun. It's going to kind of go something like this. There's wires here. I got to have these wired here. It's going to be a mess when I go to close this. So what I want to do is have everything kind of situated where it will go before I get to that point. And right now I'm working my way towards that. That's my kind of plan of attack. To get these sidewalls built, as you can see, I have these ones finished. I still have to do this side, the starboard side here. But I got the bulkheads, I got these in place. I went to look at my screenshots because I was like, how is this weathered? I don't need to add a wash because of the way I painted it. That is fine, that's pretty good. But I will need to add some rust and some soot because that's primarily what this thing is. And a little bit on here too, and put that together, and that just snaps in there. Once I get these two sides together, I'm not putting any of the piping on, by the way. That's one of the last things before I am completely done. There is weathering underneath it, but I'm just afraid I'm going to snap those off manhandling it, so that won't be done. The one thing I do have to do after I get these on is mask a bunch of this off and paint these guys. There's tons of light leak from these guys. Before I do that, though, I am going to fix the spaghetti monster. I'm going to unwrap all my wires. I'm going to somehow manage this giant mess. And I think I'm going to mount my battery, too, around this time. And then I'm going to mask everything off and shoot these with some paint as best I can. Probably. I don't know if I'm going to airbrush or can it, or I don't know what I'm going to do yet. The other thing I did do was, boo-boo, I should have mounted this switch before I did this, but I wanted this rear mount. I lost the other side of that. And I wanted more than this fragile clear plastic to be the mounting point for this rear section. So I put the two LED holders in from the kit. The lighting kit. And that's cool, huh? Well, I should have mounted this first because this has got to go in between those. Oopsie. That's okay. I can get it in here now. It's one of those things where I have to kind of plan my movements and do things in a very specific order. Don't forget the cockpit. Started weathering too. I've messed up on the weathering. Well, this is me testing a wash. I need to thin it. I think I've got it almost to the point where I like it. It needs to be a little bit more thinner than this, and I can do pin washes on the fuselage, which is what I want to do for all those nifty little panels. But this is the first test, and I actually think I'm going to leave this because this is a giant square where everything and its mother would get into, especially traveling in and out of atmospheres. And you're not going to see it because it's going to pretty much be covered by the hull. But yeah, I'm going to add some rust and stuff in there. I did test weather the mandible. I do not like that. This is acrylic paint. I can remove it easily. But I screwed up on the weathering, not so much there, but actually in these guys. I detailed it with some silver paint, I detailed it with rust, I did all kinds of detail, but they are not that detailed on the studio model. I'll have to bring this down. And then I went underneath here and I went all out. I had some really cool stuff. Got some rust, I got some copper, I got some smudges, all kinds of detail. Yeah, those aren't like that either. they're just gonna be brought down with some soot. I'm gonna soot them until they look proper, which kind of stinks, but I want to look like the studio model. And the reason I was thinking about the weathering is I was looking through the screenshots and I was looking at these, because these are, going to have to mount these soon too, with these three sections. I was looking at them and I was like, I want to see how detailed those are. They're not that detailed. They're pretty much just a little bit of dark gray paint for detail. So a nice little wash and a little subtle wash and some of my Tamiya soot, and I think that should be good for these sections because they don't look that much super detailed as far as the weathering goes. I still have to paint those black. I still have to get the last photo etch is that on there. I still have to do something with the paint or the decals. That's the other point I'm at now, is not putting too much together because I have to decal certain sections, like, or paint certain sections, like back here. There's those little detail parts that go on right here, and some detail parts here. But I need to paint, I think it's the second or third one in, is red. There's one that's gray over here, there's a red one, there's another gray one. So, really, right at this point, it's planning every move. And that's what I'm doing. And I think I will be just continuing with this. Spaghetti Monster. Light blocking. Mounting the battery. Soldering everything together. Which includes doing these lights. Mounting this. Mounting these guys. Not the radar dish, I'll do that last. But mounting these three parts somewhere in there. Mounting the cockpit. And then get ready for the big sandwiching, which is going to be fun and exciting and new. So I think I will get a bunch of this done, and I will be back with the sandwiching. So, see you in a moment. Back to the handy cam for a second, but it's all done. It's all tied in. All the negative and all the positive. As you can see, all the lights are working. I got the engine lights. I got still light leak from those 5, but that's fine. Still some light leak to clear up here. As you can see, lots of it. I've got the gunner station lights going, both of them. You can see that one's going now. I have, what else do we have? Oh, we have the old cockpit lights. I haven't seen in forever. If I can show this off. This is kind of yikes. because of the shortness of these, I'm lazy, didn't feel like splicing in more wire. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see that. You can even see the pediddle a little more. And there's some light leaks I have to fix with that one too. But this is it. It's time to put this sandwich together, and I'll be right back when I've done that. There she is all together, guys. Went together very well. The only problem I had was with fit is the battery pack. There's a little there's two pillars right here and a little shelf back here that I think is meant to help hold in the kit supplied lighting kit, or the one you can buy from Bandai, and it was pushing the battery out, so I just removed that material and then put my battery back in. And it's nice to see that I could remove my battery whenever I want. Just pop this off and remove it. As you can see, all buttoned up, all ready to fly. And of course, let's light it up. The lighting turned out, let's use something like this. So I still don't have enough clearance here, and I have to push like that, but as you can see, hit the headlight lighting, all one of them. We got the cockpit lights that are still going strong there. We have the lights for the gunner stations actually looking really well. We have the lights for the ramp. We have the lights for the landing gear. And of course we have the nice engine light there. And I looked at this in the dark, and one unexpected thing that happened is, because I have a little light leak in the sides of these photo etched, it lights up, it illuminates the gunner chairs, which is really cool. And also you can see some of these yellow and red lights if you look through. Here, I bet you can't probably tell. There's too much light in the room, but if you look through, it actually illuminates the other lattice here on the other side in kind of green and yellow. It looks really, really cool. But yeah, in the dark, the lights are really good. Actually, I'm going to try to get a shot of that. 1 second. Okay, this might not work, but see the headlight? You can see it actually illuminates the wall there. That's pretty cool. But what I was talking about, you can see there's some illumination in there. That looks pretty cool. And the other side is, yeah, you can see it illuminated by the lights, the red and the yellow and the white. The other lattice there. And you can see light leak. And I have a bunch of light leak to fix. Here's our cockpit still working. Our engine's pretty bright too. You can see it on the wall there. Let's see if we can get a shot of the underside here real quick. There we go. You can see that landing ramp is just perfect. It's just the way I wanted it to illuminate. Lighter, kind of lighter up above and not so much down below. And you can see the landing gear. Here we go. Look up front here. Some landing gear up front. And yeah, I still have that little bouncy problem there. See, pan back a little bit. You can see the cockpit up here, the ramp, the headlight, and tons of light leak around that thing. Yeah, and there's the rear landing lights right in there. Yeah, that ramp turned out awesome. I think all the lighting turned out really good. So let me get back in the bright lights, and I'll be right back. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this week's episode. Next, I'm going to start on filling all the light leaks in. Most of that is actually places I'm weathering, so it's going to kind of cure itself. Like there's a big old light leak around this tunnel. I'm going to weather around there. There's a light leak around here. I'm going to weather around there. There's little light leaks around the side. There's light leaks you saw up in here. A little bit on the bottom. Little tiny bit on there. I don't know if I'm going to worry about that though. It just coming a little bit out the side, and it is showing over here a touch. And there's one more thing I wanted to say. Yeah, you can see where I didn't this is just tiny bit off when I assembled it, and you can see now there's a big old gap I'm going to have to fill in. That's actually not too big, but I'll just fill that with some spot putty here and this stuff, and it'll be no problem. And then I move on to the decals, and after that we start the official weathering. So hope you guys will check that out, and I'll see you then. Take care.